Melania Trump is unlike anyone else. She has a name and status known worldwide, but she is far more than what meets the eye. Her journey to greatness was smooth until it collided with criticism, just as many first ladies before her have faced. Yet Melania Trump exuded confidence and left her mark no matter what crossed her path. She actively supported the future of children and always stood firm to inspire others to be the best version of themselves. To her, values are bonds, and you should do what you say. She was never your average first lady. Lively and distinct from her predecessors, Melania brought her own uniqueness, from speaking 6 languages to being a successful businesswoman and former model. There is so much more to our former First Lady that deserves admiration. "This is not how we will live forever," she once said, an urgent call for change. Over the past 4 years, Melania Trump has become an icon in many ways. Born Melania Knavs, later Germanized to Melania Knaus, on April 26, 1970, she hailed from a small town called Novo Mesto in Slovenia, where she spent most of her childhood and teenage years. Her father, Viktor Knavs, worked as a car and motorcycle dealer for a state-owned vehicle manufacturer, while her mother, Amelija Knavs, poured her talents into the textile industry as a children's clothing designer. Melania grew up with her younger sister and a half-brother. Though she had a relatively normal childhood, things shifted when she showed early interest in modeling. She began modeling at just 5 years old, though she didn't pursue it full-time until the age of 16. Her family eventually moved from Novo Mesto to Sevnica, where she attended a high school for design and later studied architecture and design at the University of Ljubljana. She continued for a year before deciding to model full-time. Her first major shoot was with Slovenian photographer Stane Jurko, who described their encounter on the Today Show. "On the stairs of the festival hall, I saw a girl who immediately caught my attention. She was tall, slim, elegant, with long hair and piercing eyes. She was immediately impressive." In 1992, she was named runner-up in Jana magazine's Look of the Year contest in Ljubljana, promising her an international modeling contract. She went on to appear in men's magazines like Max, France, GQ, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, Sports Illustrated, and walked for major fashion houses in Paris and Milan. She was, and remains, a radiant star, someone self-made like many of us. But she didn't stop there. In 2010, she launched her own jewelry line, Melania Timepieces, and skincare collection, Melania Marks. She became a businesswoman, skills she learned from her parents. She even credited her mother for instilling fashion in her veins. But the model and entrepreneur story didn't end there. She met Donald Trump, the man she would later marry in January 2005. They first met in September 1998 at a party and began dating while he was in the process of divorcing his then-wife Marla Maples. They appeared together during his brief campaign for the Reform Party's 2000 presidential nomination. And after he won the 2016 presidential election, she became only the second First Lady born outside the United States. Through it all, Melania remained Donald Trump's strongest supporter. Then, and even now. When asked by the New York Times how she felt about this, she simply replied, "It's great. I will be very traditional like Betty Ford or Jackie Kennedy." Although at first, she expressed anxiety and disappointment about her image and role as First Lady, Melania took the time to prepare both herself and her son for the transition. She delayed moving into the White House after learning that her husband had won, playing a minimal role throughout the campaign. Yet she was still delighted to be in such a position. The Washington Post noted that the delay was partly to allow their 10-year-old son, Barron William Trump, to finish his 2016 school year at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School before taking on a new chapter of life. Her transition into the new role was met with mixed reactions, as she was so different from previous First Ladies. Few editors dared put her on magazine covers. And while news outlets focused attention on the president and his administration, Melania was a separate story in the media landscape. The Washington Post stated she was criticized for seeming uninterested and uninvolved at the beginning of her tenure in the White House, but she carried on with quiet strength. She became only the second foreign-born First Lady in U.S. history, and she remained composed as she pursued meaningful goals. In May 2018, Melania launched the Be Best campaign, focusing on youth wellness and fighting online bullying and substance abuse. "I am very excited to announce the Be Best initiative," she said at its launch, an awareness campaign supported by a booklet promoting positive behavior and safe practices. She used her free time to visit hospitalized children and local students. She spent Valentine's Day at the Children's Inn, at the National Institutes of Health, and at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. She celebrated Easter at St. Mary's Medical Center in Palm Beach. In each gesture, she radiated quiet love and attention to those often overlooked. During a Vatican visit to the Bambino Gesù Pediatric Hospital, she met a young boy awaiting a heart transplant. When she heard he had received the heart, she issued a rare press statement: "My heart is filled with joy." Amid the opioid crisis, Melania used her platform to raise awareness about its devastating impact on newborns and pregnant mothers. She visited Lily's Place, a nonprofit recovery center for infants affected by opioid withdrawal. There, she supported creating safer environments for the most vulnerable. While critics debated her silence, Melania's actions quietly spoke volumes. She didn't need to shout. She simply showed up again and again. Although a household name, a model, and a contributor to society, Melania Trump is also a devoted mother, one who sees America as her extended family. Her dedication to children's well-being has taken her far beyond the walls of the White House, across classrooms and continents. From local schools to international initiatives, Melania continued her outreach with purpose. She attended the Viking Huddle class at Orchard Lake Middle School in Michigan, where students focused on emotional development. Overseas, she visited the American International School in Saudi Arabia, joining a calligraphy session alongside Education Minister Ahmed El-Issa. Her compassion wasn't just symbolic, it was personal. During a 2018 visit to Japan, Melania joined children at the Kyobashi Tsukiji Elementary School. Later, she made a solo trip through 4 African nations, Ghana, Malawi, Kenya, and Egypt, where she focused on child conservation and family support. In 2019, Melania visited a hospital in El Paso, Texas, to console 23 wounded individuals after a mass shooting. She met with survivors' families, hospital staff, and first responders. Returning to Washington, she confronted the U.S.-Mexico border policy that separated children from their families. In an emotional BBC News interview, Melania expressed deep sorrow over the separation of families and called for immigration reform. "I hate to see children taken away from their parents," she said firmly, urging leaders to pursue real change. That emotional appeal sparked another journey, this time to New Hope Children's Shelter in Texas on March 20th, 2018. There she engaged directly with doctors, healthcare workers, social workers, and specialists, seeking real solutions for the vulnerable children. Melania also organized a meeting at the White House with policy executives from major tech companies, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Snap, and Twitter. Her goal? Tackling the growing dangers of online harassment and improving digital safety, especially for children. At another event on modern technology's impact on youth, she admitted candidly, "I know people question my involvement, but I will not stop doing what I know is right." That night, her message was clear: integrity above image, courage over comfort. On April 23rd, she made headlines again by calling for the removal of Deputy National Security Advisor Mira Ricardel. It was seen as unprecedented, a First Lady influencing high-level staffing decisions. But Melania wasn't interested in playing silent. When something needed to be done, she did it. Still, amidst all this public intensity, Melania quietly battled her own storms. In 2018, she underwent a procedure for a benign kidney condition. Though minor, the embolization required strength and resilience, qualities Melania had long mastered. Then, in 2020, both she and President Donald Trump tested positive for COVID-19. Together, they entered quarantine and recovery, a time that showed the world even first families are not immune to crisis. Melania faced it with the same quiet determination she had always shown. Melania Trump may not speak often, but when she does, the world listens. And when she acts, she leaves a mark no storm can erase. Melania stated that she only experienced mild symptoms, but overall, she remained optimistic. To become a symbol of the future also meant giving of herself fully, despite personal costs. She proved her determination by never letting any setback stop her from fulfilling her duty to the nation. Through her acts of kindness and inspiring character, She became only the second woman in 28 years to be honored with the Women of Distinction Award by Palm Beach Atlantic University on March 8, 2018. That same day, she hosted her first White House event, a luncheon in celebration of International Women's Day, where she addressed women from diverse backgrounds, sharing her life as an immigrant and encouraging them to work toward gender equality both at home and abroad. There's no doubt Melania Trump is a gem to the very end, but never forget, she is also human. She may stumble, but she always brushes herself off, straightens her coat, and walks forward with grace. It's these resilient and inspiring traits that allow her to shine with an effortless light. Melania continues to champion the Be Best campaign with unwavering dedication and never loses sight of her purpose. And truthfully, none of this is possible without the kind of emotional investment she has shown and continues to show in her role. As their time in the White House drew to a close, Melania began decorating for their final Christmas there. According to USA Today, she planned to shift her focus more toward her family and her son, helping them navigate this time of transition. Meanwhile, her husband hinted at possibly entering the media world with a Trump-branded television network after his presidency, something dubbed Trump TV. There have even been whispers about Melania writing a book of her own, just as Michelle Obama and Nancy Reagan once did. Despite everything, she still aspires to be a role model for children everywhere and to inspire women in the fullest sense. Doing so isn't easy, and certainly not without sacrifice. Doing the right thing often comes with a price, and our First Lady has paid that price. The year 2020 was filled with highs and lows, but through it all, we are grateful for her service and wish her only the best in whatever comes next. What do you think is next in Melania Trump's journey? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to American Adventure for more incredible stories.